All right. Week number 8. Ain't it great? Hey, Terry, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good to
Good.
see you.
The photobomb. Hey, you too.
Photo bomb. I love it. I love it. So, this week we have an interesting move of the week. It's a forward lunge with the same leg, a forward lunge, a side lunge, a back lunge, and then a curtsy lunge. And I'm able to get in about 2 rounds in like 30 seconds and then another 2 rounds on the other leg for 30 seconds. So I'm going to try to increase it to 3 to 5 rounds and try to do a minute and a half of those. But the moves of the week with the lunges has been very challenging and I can feel it. And I've only done 2 days worth of it. So you can do it holding onto the counter. I'm trying to do it with my arms over my head for balance and just very slowly doing the movements because this is a really good balance exercise. So anyway, so this is an interesting move of the week. We've never had it before. And so I think she called it around the world or something. But anyway, so that's the move of the week. And then the JuvaFit commit call last night was amazing. They talked about Nutra HG and they talked about EMF and cation shields as well as the anion emitter pen. And I was actually talking to the tech at my chiropractor's office about the anion emitter pen because she saw me kind of whip it out of my shirt and she's like, wait, what is that? Why are you keeping ink pens in your shirt? And so I told her what it was. And some of them, if you shake them, you can hear the crystals. Some of them you can't. But she was really fascinated by it. So it's a great conversation starter, nevertheless. One of the things I wanted to make a correction on last night, and I know Megan was talking about how the Nutra HG is a CBD product. It is not. It is a hemp product. You want to make sure that people know that it's a hemp product because hemp products do not have THC in them. So it has cannabinoids in it because of the hemp, but a lot of people confuse cannabinoids, CBD, and they are not the same plant. They're cousins, but they're not the same plant. Just like ginger and turmeric are actually related, but they're not the same plant. So just an FYI, I actually drank some of this for the first time in a while tonight, and I am ready to go to sleep. It is a very wonderful, calming, restorative thing. And on the days where I don't feel like I get a lot of my greens inside of me, I want to make sure that, I get some sort of nutrition. So it was a crazy day today. And so that is going to be a nice way to go to sleep tonight. Megan says that it really helps with her anxiety. Thankfully, I don't have that much anxiety, but she said that it's very helpful for that too. And the other thing is that it has the trace minerals and chlorophyll in it, and chlorophyll help to detox your body. And I think Travis had mentioned last night that it's really a detoxifier for your blood also. And I know that Dr. Bob was mentioning that as well. So this is an amazing product. We're having a buy one, get one from now until Monday night. I just checked my inventory, and in spite of the fact that I typically don't like to stockpile, I never want to be without this, especially when I travel. When I travel and I'm in a new place and can't go to sleep, I want to have some of this on hand. So I would suggest that everybody get it because buy one, get one means that you get what, 56 packets for $98 plus shipping plus tax. That's that's very inexpensive. That's less than $2 a packet. So anyways, I don't use it every single day, but I do use it a couple times a week. And I find that it really just kind of helps keep everything detox, so to speak. So this week is week number 8, which means that we have 13 days left in the challenge because week number 8 started yesterday. So we have 13 days in the challenge. So I'm not where I want to be, but I'm getting there. And I've learned a lot in this challenge. And this challenge has been a little bit more challenging to me due to weather and side illnesses, not anything major, but enough to kind of set me back. So I will start, but I want to talk about my word, which is commitment. And on the days where I'm really feeling like I'm not feeling it, and I had a lot of those during the last 7 weeks, I'm really feeling like having that word in my brain and saying it out loud every morning is really helping me to focus on my commitment. And my commitment was to build up strength, which I have definitely done in this challenge. And my commitment also was to get much better at tracking food, which I've also been improving on. I'm not perfect, but it is getting better. And I notice it when I do track, and then I notice the next day how I'm feeling. I can go back and look at what I track and understand how my body functions with specific foods because everybody's different, right? What works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another person. So Lori, I know you don't have a whole lot of time, so remind us what your word is for the next 13 days and what you've learned so far.
My word is focus. And I've had a challenge for, I think I skipped 2 or 3 of them. 24 was kind of a difficult year for me. So I have realized that when you do participate in a challenge, it makes a difference. The accountability and just the support. And even if the times where I don't do what I expected of myself, I'm still making progress. I'm moving forward and I can see the results. And so I guess I pat myself on the back that I decided to jump back in it and just
Yay.
do what I can do every day and myself grace I need it.
Right. Well, and of course, all three of us had talked about, those times when it's like, whoops. But then being in the challenge, I think changes to coin your word, changes the focus to say, okay, so what? We all have our moments where we're not perfect. You show yourself a little bit of grace, but not too forgiving because you want to
Right.
keep pushing forward. And I know from personal experience, and I know you know this, Lori, 5 years ago, I was sitting on the couch in so much pain, I didn't think I'd ever be able to get to the front door without crying again. And now I'm walking 2 miles almost every single day. So it's and trust me when I tell you in 5 years I've had a lot of slips. So, I haven't been perfect 365 days a year for 5 years, but it is good that your word is focused because I really feel like for you that this challenge has really focused you on Lori and what Lori needs and what Lori is able to do. And I think there's some empowerment and knowing that you can with the right focus. So congratulations. I think you've done great
Thank
and
you.
I see a difference in you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Michelle, your word.
My word has been motivation after all my illnesses last fall and breaking my wrist and breaking my foot. My motivation is to be strong. And I have a new granddaughter I need to be able to lift, right? She's 27 pounds and she runs up to you and she wants you to lift her up. And so I have a lot of motivation to keep strengthening myself, which then helps with the weight loss.
And do
So
you feel like you've made progress these last 7 weeks?
I definitely have made progress in my strength. I've lost a couple pounds, but I haven't been eating perfectly this challenge. Being back in the US, right? Like with just US foods. And for example, we had bread with our soup. So the soup was very low carb, but the bread was delicioso. I had just a little bit though. I didn't eat like half a loaf. I had just a little with
Right,
a ton of
right.
butter on it. It was fantastic. And had a
So
little
that's
sliver of key lime pie. Um, fed the
So
boys.
that's when you
Had
remind
key lime
yourself
pie.
about your word motivation, right? Right,
Right, because in the past I would have eaten a big piece. I would have had a lot of bread, said, "Oh, I just blew it," and would have overate. So I just kind of said, "It's okay. I'm gonna have bread."
right.
And literally, this pie is about this big, and we're splitting it between five of us. Like we each had, but I wanted them to taste key lime pie before they go back to Europe.
Well,
So
and I
it's
call
definitely a
that a no thank you
Florida.
bite.
Right.
I
And I
call
gave
it
myself
no thank you
grace.
bite because you got the bite, you got the taste, and what's sound to me like what's different for you is that instead of you saying, well, shit, since I blew the diet, I might as well go whole hog. You
Right.
said, well, I went off the wagon a little bit, but I'll be back on tomorrow. And
And the
so
rest of my day was really clean eating. So really it
perfect,
was just that. I'll be anxious to see how bad the scale is tomorrow, but
perfect.
whatever.
Won't be
I
bad.
planned. That's where meal planning and tracking helps you because you plan and you go, I already know this is what I'm trying to eat for dinner.
Right,
And yeah,
right, right.
so it was okay.
And then I'll also remind all of you on the team that are on the call and that aren't on the call, you still have the Bristol stools chart, so you can judge by your stools. I know that
Right.
sounds gross, but it's so powerful to know when you look after you've had your movement and go, ooh, might have been a little bit too much protein, or yikes, that may have been too many carbs, or I may need more fat. Something that Dr. Bob said last night, and I don't know if you gals paid attention to this or not, but he said if you're up multiple times a night, you need more fat before you go to sleep. So I'm actually thinking about taking a teaspoon of my high-end extra virgin olive oil before I go to sleep tonight, because he said that the fat helps to process everything through your body, and your body does repair when it's sleeping. And by the way, tomorrow night is the last night that Bill is on nights. We are like a couple of walking zombies
Okay.
right now. It's been a
Oh,
big adjustment to have someone in and out of bed almost literally 24 hours a day. I mean, it's just been it's been crazy. The dog has suffered from it, and so we are ready to get back into a routine because we're very regimented when we're together. It's like one of us will
okay.
say it's 8:45 or so. All right, let's start working our way towards bed, and by 10 o'clock we're asleep and we get a decent night's sleep. But neither one of us has had a really good night's sleep in about 9 weeks. So it's been a rough challenge in that respect. And then also trying to fix dinner for two people when only one person is eating by herself and the other one is eating, the leftovers the next day. So I'm looking forward to this weekend and recharging and trying to get us back on track. So, but everybody has their things. If that's the worst that happens to me, I'm having a great year. So I don't complain about it. It's just that, it does make it different, which is why I kept reminding myself commitment, 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 commitment. Because it would have been really easy to skip meals or to not eat on time and then all of a sudden just, shove as much food in my face as possible. So I've been a little bit more committed than I usually would be if he's not around. All right. Final thoughts, anyone?
It's
Let's
nice
just
that
keep
the
at it.
temperature is getting warmer in Kansas, so I get outside and walk more. That's a
That's
blessing.
awesome.
You're in Florida, girl. I am you. I was to call you
I
out
have walked
today.
in my long Columbia coat though, many of
I know, but
mornings,
what's interesting is even
but
though
no
it's warmer
snow.
here, it's been pouring down rain, and I mean pouring rain where I live, and it's been very difficult to get out. So I've been
Yeah.
walking inside the house, and I have a rebounder, and I walk on the rebounder because that helps drain the adrenals. And so that's really good for, or I'm sorry, the lymphatic system is good for draining the lymphatic system. So I'll bounce on that and then do some stretches and then do some weights and then I do some bands and I do my Pilates ball sit up and trying to figure out some way to have movement in my small house because when I tell you it's been pouring, I'm not kidding you. I've got mulch that came out of the beds, that's how much rain we got. It was like a gully washer. So it hasn't been ideal. And then, of course, the springing forward has been
Screwed
hate
me
it.
up.
a bit
Oh my.
challenging. And one
Yeah.
morning I just slept in. I'm like, you know what?
Yep.
Dr. Bob is right. You have to rest. You have to like give your body time to heal. And I'm always go, go, going. Bill's the same way, go, go, go. And so Tuesday morning when I got up and it was pouring down rain, I'm like, just go to sleep for another hour. And I had a really good day that day because it was like I got recharged again. So make sure that you have your recharge day in your weeks. And what is your focus next week, Lori?
I think just keeping the course. I'm noticing a difference, even though I messed up, I'm noticing a difference. I'm losing inches. I'm not
That's
the
awesome.
scale, the scale's not
Mhm.
really, I think, a total of what, pounds, but I'm getting muscle.
Right.
So I'm okay with the inches disappearing and the weight coming off. I'm okay with that.
Perfect. Perfect. And for us older women, I don't mean to insult you or anything. I'm the oldest one in the group, but for older women, I think the weight just all of a sudden will just kind of stay there. And then all of a sudden you'll see the scale drop and it'll be like, okay. I think it's a little bit more stubborn. I think it gets
Mhm.
comfy cozy in our little old bodies.
I agree.
Michelle, what's your focus this week?
I think my focus is to meal plan. I'll be traveling next week late, so that's going to be at the end of our challenge just to finish strong. Meal plan, track, keep getting my movement in, just kind of keep my motivation high to stay the course.
Yeah. And mine is
Mhm.
to continue with my commitment to myself, I think I'm a little bit behind on my strength training this week, so I need to get back at that, which I will. And also to just keep tracking because like today was a really crazy day and I don't think I've tracked anything. And here it is 8:30 at night, and I'm here to tell you it's not going to happen. I'm pooped. So,
Okay.
it is what it is. I mean, I tracked in my head and I kind of know, I think I probably ate a little bit too much protein today. So I kind of know, and I'll know tomorrow morning when I get up and have a movement, and then it's like, okay, you know what you did wrong, so let's get back on track. So
Mhm.
it wasn't that I was bad today, it's just that I wasn't as careful about the tracking. Because the tracking in the app really does help me understand, all right, I've done this much exercise, I've done this much food, where am I going to balance it out? So I didn't get good at that today, but it happens. So if you haven't checked in, make sure you get checked in. I know I need to get checked in. I'm going to put it on my calendar to do. I was going to do it today, but Roscoe and his skin thing just kind of got my day carried away. It wound up being a 3-hour thing instead of an hour and a half thing. So the vet had an emergency and had to do a complete blood transfusion on a dog. So the rest of us sat and waited. But they're little fur babies, so it is what it
They
is,
are.
right?
Mhm.
So anyway, well, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Make sure you get in on the BOGO for the Nutra 8G because that's really a good deal. It's rare that they have BOGO sales. And and the other thing is the Ganodi thing launched. And if you send people to that website, they either have to have your user ID or your email address so that you get credit for it. So if they tell you, hey, I bought a node and you don't see it in your back office, then you need to reach out to customer service and let them know that so-and-so signed up and somehow it didn't get to you, and then they'll do that. So they're still working those kinks out. And it's only available through ACH or wire transfer right now until they get the whole credit card, the whole world all figured out. So anyways, it's very exciting and looking forward to it. So you guys reach out to me if you have any questions at all, and let's fight for it and let's lock arms and do this all together. All right?
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
great week.
Have a
Bye.
great week,
Bye.
everyone.
You too.